The tadpoles got furious, but because they realized the little fish was telling the truth, they switched their tone and stated, "You're wasting your words. Each day we swim across the world. We observe nobody except ourselves, our father and mother, from dawn to sunset. Of course, there are tiny worms, but they aren't counted." "You can't even leave the pond," the fish said. "How can you talk about touring around the world?" "What? Do you believe there is a world beyond the pond?" The tadpoles replied. "At least you should wonder where this water is coming from and what creatures exist outside of it," the fish said. "Outside the water? We're never seen away from the ocean." "Ha ha ha ha, you're insane," replied the tadpoles. The little black fish began to laugh too. The fish initially believed it would be the best to leave the tadpoles alone and move on, but then changed its mind and chose to talk to their mother. "Where is your mother?" the fish questioned. The fish was jumped when she heard a frog's baritone voice. The frog was perched on a rock at the pond's edge. She dove into the water, approached the fish and said, "I'm right here. What do you want?" "Hello, great lady," the fish said. The frog replied, "Now is not the time to show up, worthless being. You've discovered some children who might listen to you when you speak pretentiously. I've been around long enough to understand that the world is this pond. Keep your mouth shut and don't encourage my children wrong. Even if you lived 100 years, you wouldn't still be little more than a stupid and pathetic frog." The little fish replied. The frog got furious and jumped at little blackfish. The fish flipped and bolted quickly, moved silt and worms at the pond's bottom. The small fish was frightened when he met the crab and hailed him from a distance. The crab murmured, casting a sidelong glance at the fish, "What a courteous fish! Come closer, tiny one, come on." "I'm out to explore the world," the small fish declared, "and I never want to be trapped by you, sir." "Why are you so pessimistic and fearful, little fish?" said the crab. "I'm neither pessimistic nor fearful," the fish said. "I talk about what I see and comprehend." "All right then," the crab continued. "Please explain to me what you've seen and comprehended that leads you to believe I want to trap you." "Don't attempt to fool me," said the fish. "Are you talking about the frog?" questioned the crab. "How childish you are! I have a grudge against frogs, which is why I hunt them. They believe they are the only beings on the planet and that they are incredibly lucky. I want to show them who is truly in charge of the globe. So there's no need for you to be scared, my darling. Come on, come on."
Come on.
The crab was going back towards the little fish as he spoke. His gait was so hilarious that the fish couldn't help but chuckle and said, "Poor creature, you do not even know how to walk. How could you ever figure out who dominates the world?" The blackfish backed away from the crab. A shadow dropped on the lake, and a powerful blow knocked the crab into the sand. The lizard was so taken by the crab's ridiculous appearance that she slipped and almost fell into the sea. The crab was unable to lift. The little fish noticed a young shepherd boy standing at the water's edge observing the fish and the crab. A herd of sheep and goats approached the pond and dipped their tongues in. The valley was filled with meh, meh, and bah, bah noises. The little blackfish hesitated till the sheep and goats had finished drinking their water before calling the lizard. "I'm a little blackfish looking for the end of the stream, dear lizard. I believe you are wise. Therefore, I'd want to ask you a question." "Ask whatever you want." "They've been scaring me about the pelican, the swordfish, and the heron the whole time. Do you have any information regarding them?" The swordfish and heron, particularly the swordfish that dwells in the sea, are not present in this region, the lizard explained. However, the pelican might be further down. Make sure he doesn't deceive you and trap you in his bag. "Which pouch?" "The pelican has a pouch that stores a lot of water behind his throat," the lizard clarified. Fish enter the pelican's pouch and then go directly into his stomach as the pelican is swimming. If the pelican isn't hungry, he keeps the fish in his pouch for future consumption. "Is there any way out if a fish gets into the pouch?" the fish inquired. "Not until the fish tear the bag," the lizard said. "I'll give you a dagger so you can do precisely that if you are caught by the pelican." The lizard then slipped inside a crack in the rock and re-emerged with a razor-sharp dagger. The little fish received the dagger and declared, "You're a very kind lizard. I'm at a loss for words to express my gratitude." "It is not required to express gratitude to me, my darling. I have a multitude of these daggers. When I'm bored, I sit down and create daggers from grass blades, which then I give to wise fish like you." "What?" inquired the fish. "Have any other fish traveled through here before me?" "A lot of them have gone by," the lizard said. "They've organized themselves into a group and are bothering the fishermen." "Excuse me for speaking so much," the blackfish continued. "But if you don't think I'm meddling, tell me how they treat the fishermen." "Well," the lizard said, "they stay together. When a fisherman tosses his net, they rush inside, drag the net with them, and drag it to the sea's bottom." The lizard placed her ear on the gap and replied, "I should go. My children have woken up." The lizard slipped into a gap in the rock. The blackfish had no option but to restart his journey. But the fish's head was filled with doubts the entire time. Is it true that the brook empties into the sea? If only the pelican doesn't catch me. Is it true that the swordfish likes murdering and feeding on its kind? Why is the heron our enemies? The small fish kept swimming and wondering. The fish saw and learned new things along the way. The fish enjoyed doing somersaults, rolling down waterfalls, and swimming. The fish became stronger as it felt the warmth of the sun. At one point, a deer was hurriedly sipping some water. The small fish greeted her. "Gorgeous deer, why are you in such a hurry?" The deer responded, "A hunter is following me. I've been struck by a bullet. Right here." The small fish didn't see the gunshot wound, but the deer's unsteady walk told her she was speaking the truth. Turtles were resting in the sun at one point. The raucous cries of partridges wound across the valley at another location. The aroma of mountain grass flowed through the air and blended with the water. The fish arrived in the afternoon at a point when the valley expanded and the water ran through the heart of a tree grove. Because there was so much water, the small blackfish had a great time. The fish afterward came across a group of fish. Since leaving home, the little fish had not seen another fish. "You must be a stranger here," exclaimed several small fish as they approached little blackfish. "Yes," the blackfish said. "I'm a stranger. I've traveled a long distance." The little fish questioned, "Where do you want to go?" The blackfish said, "I'm going to discover the end of the brook." "Which river?" The blackfish said, "This particular brook we're swimming in." "This is what we call a river," the little fish said. The blackfish remained silent. "Don't you know the pelican lives along the way?" one of the little fish queried. The blackfish said, "Yes, I know." Someone else inquired, "Do you know what a large broad pouch the pelican has?" "I'm aware of it as well," said the blackfish. The little fish said, "You still want to go despite all of this?" "Yes," the blackfish replied. "Whatever happens, I have to go." Soon, word spread among all the fish that a small blackfish had arrived from afar and was looking for the river's end. The fish was not even scared by the pelican. Several little fish were enticed to join the blackfish, but they refused since they were terrified of the adults.